Webster's Collegiate Dictionary right here. Look at that. If you look closely, you can see all the letters are written in ink so you can get to them. I didn't do that. It came this way. Does it look old? I have a lot of old dictionaries. I have a lot of things lying around that so many people are unaware that they're missing. Look at this one. I don't even know where I got this dictionary. These old dictionaries, they're the best. Right here it says, oh, and it's written in women's handwriting. I know the difference. My father is in this crazy scrawl when he wrote, and my mother's was in this beautiful, like hearing a bird sing beauty to her writing. This is what we have here. Please return this to my shelf. I like it pretty well myself. Betty Jane Hersey. She said that. And somebody wrote in a scrawl 1943 right next to it. And I know they got it wrong. That's a man's writing. It's like my dad trying to remember something. Whatever he remembers, that's what he knows. And that's how it went. I remember. That's not how it went at all. But just let him go, you know. Write it down in the scrawl. Look, there's that Webster character. There's a picture of him right there. How I know 1943 isn't right is because right here down at the bottom of it, in the copyright time, it says like 1948. Somebody fucked something up. Hopefully it doesn't taint the meaning of the words within. Let's look at one and let's tell a story about it. Indignity. Indignity. These are my favorites. They're right at the top of the page. You look down and you see it and you say, well, there's something that's always a good one at the top of the page. This one says indignity. Unworthy or disgraceful quality, state, or act. An unworthy quality or state or act. An indignity. I guess it's a noun. Yep. I can tell you what an indignity is. And I'll tell you why I'm telling you this in a minute. A few moments, I suppose. I remember watching something when I lived in San Jose. I would watch Telemundo and Univision, their news. And I would just watch and watch instead of having to listen to what everybody thought was happening. You could see when a guy was getting shot in the head on the news by the look in the newscaster's eyes. These are nice people that are telling the news. They shouldn't be seeing these things. What I noticed watching these things on Telemundo and Univision was that at one point they were trying to get the Mexican military to help. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about this stuff. It's back in the late 90s, trying to get the Mexican military to help with the police, but they had a hard time doing it because the military are screwing around and elbowing each other constantly, and the police take it all so seriously, and the military's like, you call me when you need me kind of thing. And so it is something that I never thought about while I was in the military, but I never wanted to be a cop. There was one friend of mine, whatever his name was, from Vermont. He got out to become a police officer. And there was another guy that was there, was the son of a sheriff, who was the biggest dick in the fucking company. It's like, what the fuck, Dickie? That was his name, Dickie. He suited it quite well. I never had any interest or feeling about being a cop, And the military, the police officer, they're two different people. They have different jobs to do, and they have to have different mentalities. And so I never made a connection with the police. Here, let's read the word again, because I'm about to tell a story based on a word that I opened up the Bible, the dictionary, to. Indignity, unworthy or disgraceful quality, state, or act. I was in a club one night. It was about the time of must have been late 88, early 89, somewhere in there. And there was some girl there. She was an older woman. She was 21. I was 18 at the time. I remember this now. And she had a ring on her hand, and I was trying to stay away from her. And so we danced. Men don't dance, but some reason girls like a guy that dances. So we danced and ended up becoming familiar. When you talk about somebody like that poor guy having one evening of sexual exploits, that's not an affair. She and I, we had an affair, but her husband was a military police officer. And before we even go further than that, I have to tell you, I've always felt I do not own any person that I am in a relationship with. And if they decide they want somebody more than me, they have every right. And I've always felt that way. Of course, I've always been the guy that a girl has wanted more than her husband, so it kind of works out in my favor. And so her husband was trying to take in people after the hurricane went over Puerto Rico, and the prisoners were running loose in the fields. Her husband was over there, and she had me over to her house. And I tried to stay away from it. I tried so hard. I was an innocent. Remember, I was supposed to be a priest, but what came of that? It was an indignity. It was not meant against him. That's the first one. The second definition says any action toward another which shows contempt for him, an offense against personal dignity, contumely, synonym, see affront. I did not affront this man. I didn't know him. He just happened to be a cop, and I wasn't. He happened to be a cop that was in the military. He he was more than he should have been. Sometimes we're supposed to be able to just pick one thing, you know. And as a guy in the military, I didn't give a fuck about the MPs. The reason I do this is because I saw something about Jim Morrison today. An interview with his father and her sister after he died. His father, an admiral from the Navy. His sister said that he used to pick up the dictionary and just write a story with a word he found in it. And to do that, certainly there's an envelope in here. There are things that are written on stuff. I don't know. But it just opened up. And indignity is the word for today. I don't mean anything against anybody. It's just some of my characteristics aren't so worthy of respect.